Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys Football. We are continuing with our 2022 game previews as we take a look at probably the most exciting game in the first couple of weeks. As Ohio State and Notre Dame goes to the shoe against Ohio State. Guys, before we get into it, just wanted to say thank you for all the support you guys have shown the channel. It means a lot to the fellas. We love making these videos. We love talking about with you guys in the comment section. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section about how this game's going to go. The boys need a winner. Dill, I'm going to kick it to you. What's your overall feel on this game here?
I'm pretty sure my feel is what most people think, and I really don't really see a way for Notre Dame to beat this Ohio State team, and that's not a slight at Notre Dame. I just don't think Ohio State's going to be really, really good this year. I think they're coming off a really sour taste at the end of their last season. I think they're going to be really ready to rock and roll. And when you're playing like a really good team, I think it does help bring the juice, brings the gas all season, all off season. And I think you're not going to see a sleepy Ohio State team not quite ready. I think they're going to be fully ready, and they're going to.
Okay, so I agree with that take. You're not going to see an Ohio State team that's going into this game asleep for sure. They are motivated. Ryan Day at Big Ten Media Day was like, our goal is winning Big Ten titles, beat Michigan, and win the national championships. And we didn't do any of that. He basically said we don't give a damn about winning the Rose Bowl, which I kind of respect. Like that's what the standard is that he's set and Urban Meyer set at Ohio State. My one concern with this game is that Ohio State defense going to take a little bit of time to adjust. We saw that with Michigan when Mike McDonald comes in, completely new scheme on defense. And guys just were really – it was an adjustment period. You saw guys not knowing where to line up, not being set for plays. Jim Knowles probably runs the most complicated defense in the country, and he's getting a one offseason to implement that. Are you nervous about how that defense looks week one here?
The difference between like what Jim Knowles is doing and what maybe some other coordinators, especially those who have come from an NFL background or had never been a coordinator – is Jim Knowles is like he's a legit great defensive coordinator, and he's got a ton of experience being a defensive coordinator at the college level. So I actually think, okay, yeah, he didn't have a ton of time to put it together, but he's like been around the block a little bit. I don't see them being like lagging, if you will. It's not like they were promoting from within, like their linebackers coach making him the D coordinator. He used the D coordinator at Oklahoma State for a while and obviously did a great job. And I personally don't think they're going to have some long adjustment period just because Jim Knowles knows how to put a defense in and make it.
It did take him a little bit to develop it at Oklahoma State. Like it was 3 years before that fourth year really took off. Now, the other argument is Jim Knowles is working with it doesn't like the talent that he has at Ohio State versus Oklahoma State, completely different. I want to talk a little bit about Notre Dame because they also have a lot of new stuff going on. They bring in a new DC. Marcus Freeman is his first. I mean, that bowl game maybe counts, but it's his first real regular season game on the road at Ohio State with a young quarterback and Tyler Buckner probably going to start. How do you think this Notre Dame offense looks?
I mean, I'm worried about the Notre Dame offense for sure. And I think and just because you don't really know, you don't know what you have at quarterback. Like maybe have some hope for Tyler Buckner. But the play at that position was not great last year. Their offensive weapons are okay, but they're not great. And their offensive line isn't – I think it's going to be better than it was last year, but it's not those Notre Dame offensive lines that carried them to playoff runs. So I think I'm inherently concerned about the offense for sure, but I'm not concerned about that defense, and they might actually give Ohio State some problems.
Yeah, the offense, if you see like Jack Sawyer take that step, JT take that step on that edge position, and I like Notre Dame's young tackles, but they are young, and that's going to be kind of one of those key matchups on that Notre Dame's offense side of the ball is how well can they block some of those blossoming dogs, and you could throw Zach Harrison in there too. Let's talk about the Notre Dame defense going up against probably the best offense in the country in Ohio State. We'll start with Ohio State just because there's a lot of guys. C.J. Stroud working with Jackson Smith-Njigba, Travion Henderson. The offense is going to be really good. What are the keys for Notre Dame in your mind to slowing them down a little bit?
Rush the passer. That's always the key to stopping Ohio State. Can you beat them with your front four? Michigan beat them up at their front four. and obviously was able to really slow that offense down. And I frankly expect Notre Dame to be able to challenge them pretty significantly with that defensive line because they have some really good players. I mean, led by Isaiah Foskey, but I think they're going to be able to rush the passer. And that's probably your hope is can you just kind of dominate the Ohio State offensive line, which, again, it's another unit you're not 100% sure. They lost a lot of guys to the draft off a unit that, frankly, wasn't really good enough last year.
Yeah, that Ohio State offensive line needs to be better. Like, they're a super talented group, guys like Paris Johnson. They just need to play at that level. And I totally agree. I don't think Notre Dame's secondary can really keep up with the horses that Ohio State has on the offense side of the ball. Michigan could. You know what I mean? If when CJ Stroud had time against Michigan, like they were completing passes and they were getting those explosive plays. Now, what Notre Dame needs to do is say, okay, we recognize that disadvantage, but we got to get after CJ Stroud up front. And I think that's the key to the game is the kind of the model that Michigan provided teams to beat Ohio State. Run the ball, control the time of possession, which Notre Dame historically does. And I do think they'll be able to run the ball a little bit. But more importantly, get CJ Stroud off the spot.
That's going to be – if they can really be disruptive and their defensive line takes a step and is even better, that's the way I can see them challenging this Ohio State team. But at the end of the day, even that, it's like you're so loaded with playmakers on Ohio State. I don't totally see it, frankly. I mean, I get that's the recipe, but I think this Ohio State team is going to be really good on offense. And I mean, Travion Henderson, incredible. Like the wide receivers obviously have been incredible for years. And
all right,
I don't know.
Let me pose a question for you then. Let's get into the nitty gritty for the folks who care about this side of the sport. Is Ohio State covering 2 touchdowns here?
Two touchdowns. I guess I wouldn't like taking this, but
I'm not rushing. I'm not rushing about this.
My lean is Ohio State to take it. I think that's kind of a fair line, frankly.
Yes.
Because I don't see Notre Dame getting blown out like they're Michigan State. I think they're better than that. I think Marcus Freeman will have them more ready to go, but I don't see the talent is pretty not very close, and I don't know. Notre Dame was good last year, not great, and I think Ohio State's going to be a hungry team.
Yeah, I feel a little bit more confident than you with Ohio State covering this because yes, Notre Dame can rush the passer, but the guys on Michigan were another level. I like Isaiah Foskey. I think he's very good, but Hutchinson, Ajabo, they were kind of next level guys. And if Notre Dame can, if Ohio State can block Notre Dame, I don't see those cornerbacks being able to keep up with those Ohio State wide receivers. I think the only way I see Notre Dame covering or even have a chance to win this game is if they can run the ball down Ohio State's throat like Michigan did. And I don't know if I see that either with Jim Knowles coming in. My lean's Ohio State.
It's not Chris Tyree's game. It's like he's much more of a play in space kind of guy. So last year with the guy Williams, he was much more of a downhill run through you kind of guy. And Tyree was making most of his plays in space. So I don't think they have the recipe to do it. I don't think they have the powerful line. I don't think they have the powerful backs, which is frankly what Ohio State struggled with against Oregon and Michigan, the two games they lost.
Yeah, I agree. That'll do it. We have 2 picks now. We got Ohio State probably covering 14.5, and I'm not rushing to the table to bet that, but that would be the boys' leans. Guys, we appreciate you checking us out again. If you do like the content and you like talking college football, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to y'all later.